Welcome to Manufacturing Day. I'm Mike Vespa, Vice President of Sales here at Phenom. If you're a talent acquisition leader in manufacturing, you know that whether you're running a centralized, decentralized, or hybrid recruiting model, the real question isn't about your structure. It's about how you're using AI and automation to make it work better. You're dealing with a workforce spread across multiple facilities, maybe managing 100 different job openings where each plant manager does their own thing. Your corporate team is trying to bring consistency while your local managers need autonomy to fill positions fast. Meanwhile, you're posting on job boards like Indeed and hoping for the best, or paying a staffing agency a fortune to find people that might not even show up on Monday. Here's what's really frustrating. You're competing for technical talent with tech companies that might pay more and maybe seem a little bit sexier. You're trying to convince people that modern manufacturing isn't their grandfather's factory floor, but your career site looks like it was built in 1995. And while you're focused on upgrading your knowledge workers' experience, your frontline workers, the people who actually make your products, are still filling out paper applications. Every day you delay is another day of lost production, overtime costs, and good people going to work for your competitors. The real cost isn't just financial. It's watching your best plant managers burn out trying to fill roles while production targets slip further behind. But here's the good news. Over the next 90 minutes, you'll see how manufacturing organizations just like yours have transformed their hiring to empower local managers while maintaining corporate visibility. You'll discover how leading manufacturers are layering intelligence and automation into their existing strategies to adapt to shifting skill sets and drive massive ROI. Today, you'll hear from industry leaders who've built lean hiring machines that reduced labor costs while actually improving quality of hire, and how their approach to empowering local managers with the right tools is delivering measurable ROI through faster time to productivity. Lastly, you'll experience 3 hands-on demos where you'll see automation that cuts costs without sacrificing quality, mobile tools that put hiring power directly in the plant manager's hands, and internal mobility strategies that turn your existing workforce into your best talent pipeline. So let's dive in and discover how to transform your hiring from a cost center into a profit driver.
Welcome back, everybody. You guessed it. We are back on the road for a very, very special customer story today. We are here on site at Clemens Foods, and I am joined by none other than Mr. Brandon Shepard. Thank you so much for joining us. It's great to be with you.
No, thank you for having me.
Right on. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about what brought you over to Clemens and how did you get into the manufacturing industry?
It's interesting. You probably would assume that I have a background that is catered for this and we're doing this specifically. Not at all. I am actually a biology major, mainly in research. And like that was my full path. So I was constantly thinking about biology, becoming a doctor and thinking about it from that point of view. And then you said, how did I get into
manufacturing, food processing, found your way to Clemens?
Yeah. It's probably a road that is not taken as often. I got into just recruiting and retail side because I was trying to find some place that I could make enough money to continue to go to school because I had to pay for my own graduate courses, right? And in doing that, I landed with another company who said, hey, with all the experience that you have, I was an office manager before, it was a lot of guerrilla recruitment plus multitasking. They said, why don't you do recruiting? So I started off as a senior specialist doing that. And then from there, doing just specific like business recruitment, startup recruitment as well, because we were opening up stores.
Right.
That brought me over here to Clemens when I was looking for the next step to lead multiple teams. And coming here, I'm able to lead not only just recruiting here, but in different locations, domestically and internationally.
No way, that's awesome. So tell me a little bit more about when you joined the Clemens team, what was the scene like as far as technology, recruiting? How are things getting done around here?
It's interesting. So there was already an engine built. The engine was good. It brought a lot of people in. We were able to hire. At the time, our turnover was a little bit higher, but now it's low. It's around 30%, which is killing it. We're doing really good at that. But I think in the last Phenom conference, you guys talked about the Stone Age and things like that. I would say
because we're trying to help folks level set, because I think what's so challenging with AI and automation is that it's this really, these are very powerful tools that were just dropped on us, right?
Yes.
And it's like, now go have fun with them. And what we're trying to do with the levels is just to help people, to educate folks of like, this is where you are and we can progress through this. You don't have to go from 0 to 100.
100%.
Yeah.
And you talk to an IT person, they would say, AI's always been here. We've always been doing this, right? But we just didn't know it.
Exactly. When you start typing into Google and it already knows what you want to search for with 2 letters, and it's like, how are you reading my mind, Google? They were doing that back in 2004.
Exactly. They were doing all that, right? And so were we. So from our point of view, we were already doing a lot of different things with recruitment, a very no-holds-barred approach, where we were bringing in walk-ins, and unfortunately, everything was done on paper. Every single thing was done on paper. You can probably say we were the natural enemy to trees or forests, everything.
Like, what do you mean by everything?
Do you really want to know the steps?
I actually want to
everything?
know. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Like, is it that if I wanted to get a job at Clemens, that I would have to fill out a paper application and mail it to you?
Listen, let me get a little deeper on that.
Oh, no.
So the way it started with us is that if you were to come to us, you're going to go through a walk-in interview. Just even to get on campus, you had to sign a sheet of paper so that we knew who was on campus. Right. So you're signing in through security. Then you get through the doors, and then when you get to where we're sitting at, you had to sign in again so that we know who's here. So you're doing that on paper, right? Then after you do that, we ask you if you have a resume. You don't have one, you got to create a resume on paper. Okay, you're gonna get good at it. You're gonna know what I'm saying, right?
I'm gonna get good at counting.
You're gonna get good at it, right? So you have to do that on paper.
Yeah.
Then when we interview you, we're doing our interview on paper.
You're not even typing in a computer?
No. We don't get to that point yet, right? So
what year is this?
4 years ago.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, but it was good, right? It was awesome.
Paper works.
Yeah, paper works, right? We're getting hires, so you're doing that on paper, and then when you pass that interview, you go to the hiring manager. You're going to do a tour, and they're doing your interview on paper, and then they bring that paper back to us. If it's good to go, you have to do a physical with us. You have to fill out paper to do that. So you're filling out
up to like 6 steps.
6, right?
Yeah.
After you're done with that, you come back. Now you pass that. You got to do your background check. That is.
That's a lot of paper.
That's actually online.
That's a lot of paper.
We actually do that online. So that was the one thing we were doing online. But then the onboarding packet, that was at least 17 pages of just paper. And then we take your I-9 docs, scan those, also on paper. After all that's filled out, that's maybe close to 25 pages.
You already have a file on the person before they even walked in your door.
Absolutely. We stapled that together and put it in our 8 by 11 foot cabinets.
8 by 11 feet?
Yeah, it was pretty.
Are these custom built for you?
Custom built for us. Legit. Like it's built for us. We rolled them in, and it's literally like you just crank it up, and it opens to the next filing cabinet.
I want to see this.
You can. We'll show you to it sometime.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we would just throw your file in there and hope that we never have to go back and purge it because you stay with us forever.
Now, while you're collecting all of this paper,
like,
how are hiring decisions being made? How is collaboration even working? Like, were you just moving through the motions of just trying to get folks in the door? Because I can imagine just within this industry, you're rural, you're connecting to farmers, to food processors. It must be difficult to kind of connect people.
It is absolutely difficult, especially depending on the location. So here in Hatfield, it's a little bit, it's better. We have more populations, more dense here. And some of our other locations, it is more rural, and those were harder, especially when language comes into play at that point too.
True.
Where we speak 15 different languages here.
Wow.
Yeah. So think about on paper, having to communicate.
And you would need a whole linguistic staff just to help with different translations.
Yeah, we've thought about it. We said, does this cost, is it cheaper to do it that way? So
my gosh.
Yeah, so I mean, at that point it said, hey, what is the next phase of recruiting?
Right.
What's the next step?
Yeah.
What should we do next?
Was there a pivotal moment that occurred when you got, I get that the paper's a ton and that you were going through a lot of turnover and keeping folks in the door was just challenging as far as talent pipelines.
Yeah. And again, the turnover was happening a lot during the COVID time period. Now it's kind of stabilized. But a pivotal moment, I'd have to say yes, but no. It was more us. We decided to move forward. We decided to try to push the envelope for the next thing because that's just our mentality.
What did that look like internally? Like you said, not one person decides to go move forward with with a change that can affect a whole organization.
Absolutely. No decision that is made here is made in silos. We're very huge about collaboration. We're huge about talking to people and understanding, and it's really the human connection that helps us make better decisions every single day. So what did that look like? It looked like me seeing this information, and actually I didn't even know about Phenom. It was one of my new hires. He brought it up because he heard about Phenom and he had worked on it before. So he brought it up to me. He knows I'm an enthusiast about AI technology. So I jumped into it. After looking at it and going to the conference that you guys graciously invited me to, we were able to take that information back and bring it back to home base and talk to our teams. I talked to my leader, and then he talked to his leader, and then we had multiple meetings throughout a, let's say, 6-week time period, beating up the process, trying to figure out what makes sense for us. Is this something we want to do? Do we have the bandwidth to do it? Do we have the habits to even really work on it?
The habits are a big thing.
Habits are huge.
Because you can put the technology into place, but then it's that follow through and that follow up in order to keep the machine running that you worked so hard to put into place. So now I'd love to kind of just dig into the weeds a little bit with you. And so these conversations, like who was a part of them and how did you kind of connect the HR tech ask back into the business process? And like, were there key roles or things that you were like, I believe that by implementing this technology in this way, starting to infuse AI and automation into our process, we could start getting some better results?
Multitude of things. Knowing that Phenom had this one feature called intelligent sourcing that allowed us to not only rediscover internal talent, or at least people who have applied previously, but also being able to look at external people without us even actively trying to do it. So passively showing us new candidates. That was one of the bigger drivers because we're all about top talent and we're trying to constantly look for top talent. Our goal is to win the Super Bowl. Our goal is to win at every facet, at every day. So that's our mentality. We're a very continuous improvement. Success is never final. So because of that, when we looked at what this system brought us, plus the skill set, or at least in talent acquisition, a new wave of recruiting was happening at the same time of, we need to look for skills. Skills-based hiring is something that really aligns you to your core and allows you to really speak the same language as your hiring manager and find the best talent that fits not only the skills, but also who we want to be and who we are.
Without a doubt. And I'm thinking back to the beginning of your story that you just shared of like how you got into recruiting. It was somebody who saw you and saw your skills and knew that you would be right for that role.
Yeah, man. And I was an office manager. It was
but it was that connection of person to skills and to opportunity, which I think sometimes could get skewed if we're kind of running down these tracks of like, I went to this school, I studied this specific program, and I only have this type of experience. Meanwhile, your skills could really fit so well into a completely different space. And for you, it brought you into recruiting.
Absolutely. I mean, you would say transferable skills are also a very big notion or category that helps people really transfer to another place. Transferable skills helped me. Again, like you said, I base off biology. But when I was running an office, I had to multitask, I had to communicate, I had to do billing. So I had to learn new things quickly to make sure we were making money. Had to also be able to find new places or new partners as well. So I'm doing guerrilla tactics, going to new businesses, new vendors to communicate to them what our benefits are and trying to talk about something that may be intangible and make it tangible, which is exactly what we do in recruiting. Like we do that every day. That's the product that we sell.
Without a doubt,
Every
it's
day.
bringing that talent in and it's connecting them to that right role so that they can go ahead and thrive.
100%.
Digging in a little bit, you mentioned intelligent sourcing as being one of those things that drew you towards Phenom. I'd love to really get a bird's eye view.
Yeah.
I know that you guys were stuck in manual processes and really that paperwork, right?
25 pages.
25, dude. That's a novel almost. But with that, right?
Yeah.
What were some of those, if you were to take a step back and just kind of like look at the landscape as far as the challenges that you were facing, were there some other big buckets of inefficiencies? Was it around maybe some of those scheduling tasks, or was it just on your side of like, what did your career set, what did candidate attraction look like?
Yeah, you're absolutely right with bringing up those few things as well, because we've used multiple ATSs before, right? And what we were finding out is that one of the ones that we were using, it felt more like it was a repository of candidates. It didn't do anything else.
Right.
People applied and then they disappeared.
Yeah.
And we felt that constantly. So anytime we had to open up a new rec, that is opening up a completely brand new search and trying to find brand new people to apply for the role every single time. Phenom was able to show us that there's a way that if I open up a rec within moments to 24 hours, I can have all the people who have fit that category based off their skills resurface to me. That is tremendous,
Right?
Because that could be a silver medalist that I might have forgotten about, or maybe I didn't tag or put in the talent
Or you might
pool.
not have even noticed the person because maybe they didn't have like that right number of years in the business, but they
100%.
actually had the right skills
Yes.
in order to come in and to make impact.
100%.
So could you tell me a little bit about some of the solutions that you did put into place?
Yeah, so like we talked about already, intelligent sourcing, we talked about that. That helps us a lot. We're still waiting to get the scheduling portion. Scheduling, I think that will be a game changer for us, because right now we use a scheduling tool, but the way that it's installed, it's a plugin, so it's via plugin. And that has to be updated anytime we update our internal systems.
Yeah.
So if you can imagine, that means it turns off
Yeah.
and people can't schedule.
You're describing the main problem with point solutions.
There we go.
Because at the end of the day, right, we're talking about these different things. Like an ATS is really, really great at compiling legacy data and keeping
Yes.
that database going for
Forever.
you in a secure place forever, right?
Yeah.
But then engaging that and getting access to that's a completely different thing. That's why you need a vendor like Phenom who's starting to infuse this AI and automation into that process so that you could actually tap in at speed. So
100%.
you guys are starting to explore scheduling. That's the next phase of things because you're still trying to eliminate some of those point solutions.
100%. 100%. There is so many inefficiencies that just happen naturally that we want to try to eliminate so that we can change from being that normal pound of pavement recruiter to more of a partnership or a strategic person with them. I don't want to sit across the table from my hiring manager. I want to sit beside them at the table, trying to figure out how are we going to find the best talent for what we need.
Could you share, I know that these are still some early days for you.
Yeah, sure.
Could you share with us how you are currently using AI?
I don't want to give any secret sauce or trade secrets here, but we not only are we using Phenom, we also are using other things as well, like for example, ChatGPT. So we create different GPTs that help us be better, faster, and actually go to market quicker as well. So whether that is our job ads that we're posting or anything else, maybe we want to get more detail into the strengths and weaknesses of a job.
Yeah, and I think that what you're keying in on is this idea of exploration, right?
Yeah.
And of trying to find what works. And there's so many different tools that are out there that are really helping make an impact and a difference.
Yeah.
Would you, when looking at the other side of the coin of AI and automation, how is automations providing impact to you guys?
Oh my goodness. One of the things that is currently happening today that I didn't even know was happening, and I give kudos to you guys during the implementation phase where you had me do it, and I didn't connect one and one together. Nudge campaigns as well as incomplete applies. So one thing that Phenom is helping us with right now is we never used to capture, or we did not know how many people started an application and didn't finish. We also did not know how to communicate or contact those people,
Right.
right? Because you don't know in the first place.
Yep.
Phenom has a feature where it's highlighting that these are your incomplete applies. And then we have a nudge campaign. Again, you guys had me created during the implementation phase, and I couldn't put 2 and 2 together, but it allowed us to be able to increase the amount of applications because it's going back to those people who did not finish an application and messaging them and saying, hey, you didn't finish.
That's the power of automation, is when it starts to be able to start spotting those bottlenecks within your process against large data sets as well, to allow you to know what you need to do, but then also help you to provide the steps necessary to re-engage, to set up that drip campaign, to engage the candidate again, and to reach right back out to them. So are you guys using campaigns currently?
We are actually building that. So that is a part of my team's goals right now, is that we are building campaigns because there's so many different ways, whether you're doing just a regular campaign, an outreach campaign, always on, nudge, however we want to do it. We are finding creative ways to utilize campaigns, automations, and other triggers for even our internal conversations with our hiring managers. Let's say I want to get surveys out and things like that to give them a reminder, because they have 1,000 things they're doing as well. They're not just focused on just hiring this one person or 2 people that we're hiring for them. So it allows us to be almost in multiple places at the same time.
Yeah, and so you were keying in on the collaboration piece, and we talked about hiring managers earlier. How is that impacting them, like the person at the end of the line who actually needs the help?
I would say talent is different. Talent is better. So when we show them what we're doing, because sometimes they want to look under the hood. Right. So we show them a little bit of what we're doing, and then they get excited because they're like, "Wow! Like I did not know that you can find this huge pipeline so quickly for me, that you're reducing my opportunity cost, reducing that." Yeah, and we look at that as well. So my team, when we talk about it, they've challenged me, I've challenged them, and we've come together and collaborated about talking with opportunity costs and knowing that each week that our time to fill is increasing, that's also cost to the business that we are, of course, incurring and making up, but also there's more opportunity costs. Think about someone in sales. It's not just the potential payment of that person, but also the potential sales that you're not getting from that.
Right. It's the energy and the effort and not putting it in the right place. And now you could actually put more focus on the energy and on the things that actually move the needle forward, on that impact for you.
And just really quick, with that, you asked about collaboration. That has helped us really decrease that gap and have a better partnership, because I'm able to speak the same language you're able to speak.
Right. Because you understand the skills that I'm looking for.
And I understand your what's going wrong. I understand the pain that you're going through as well. Of what's not being filled.
Right. That pressure. And that technology is really relieving that by allowing you to move fast, get those insights, and to keep the communication flowing.
100%.
So we were keying in on impact. Are you starting to see some impact coming in?
Yeah, we are starting to see some impact.
Could you share some of that? I know that you shared at I Am Phenom a little bit with us, but would love to see, catch us up.
I'll just tell you one that literally just happened. So very recently.
No, this is hot off the presses.
Hot off the press. You're the first one to hear.
Shut up, man. Thank you.
One of the things that just happened is that one of my recruiters, they were working on a role. And they were sourcing via intelligence sourcing and other avenues as well. And as they were able to find the candidate, they also were able to talk about, hey, these are some silver medalists, these are some other things, and they had conversations. And the hiring manager actually decided to open up another role, and that silver medalist that they found was someone who resurfaced through the system and said, hey, this is an A fit, or hey, this is a B fit. And they said, you know what? Let's hire that person too.
Let's just move right away.
Let's just do it.
Man, I love these stories when I hear how technology's we hear so much around the fear around technology, how it's eliminating jobs, or it could eliminate jobs, and how it could replace humans. But what I'm hearing you say is actually creating growth and opportunity and surfacing the right person. Like it's giving opportunity to people who might have gotten overlooked.
Yeah, I would say it is actually increasing a human's ability to communicate. Is increasing our communication.
I 100% affirm that.
Exactly, right? So instead of me trying to figure everything out, now we're talking. Now we're using our tools to make us more efficient, so that now we can actually zone in on exactly what we want, and also zone in or zone out of exactly what we don't want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you shared with us a little bit about the impact.
Yeah.
And I know that scheduling is next up on the docket for you guys. Could you share with us a little bit about your vision as a TA leader for Clemens and just in general of all of this emerging technology? What are the things that give us a little vision casting for Clemens and give us a little vision casting for where you as a leader see things going?
I think we talked about it a little bit earlier and maybe even off camera about how we are scrappy, we're gritty, we're very competitive, and we want to win. We're out here trying to squeeze $1.25 out of $1. We're trying to figure out what else we can do to continually keep pushing forward. So as a competitor myself, and my team is full of competitors, we're trying to compete not only with our industry, but also with everyone in talent acquisition. So we model ourselves and we look at the other businesses, just like Netflix and things like that, they're doing a great job. They're doing some of the best work when it comes to talent acquisition. We're looking to say, how can we compete with that? What are they doing that we're not doing? How can we be better? And then each time we hire someone, or each time that we find that this is a difficult role, we do a fixer-upper or a post-mortem meeting afterwards to say, what is going on? What did we do wrong? How can we fix this? What's going to be to change for the future? And it's also helping us to look at data differently as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I might look at not only looking at how many people are coming into my rec, but I might also look at historicals of how many times have we had to open this rec and what was the difference?
You can start getting ahead. You can start project planning, start forecasting for those evergreen roles, those tricky roles that you know, every April I'm going to lose,
yeah, exactly, right? And that's how we can move from being a recruiter to a talent strategist. Or
and to a business partner too.
Yes.
Over the last few years, have you felt that change shift within the business?
Yes, I have, but I've seen it start to shift and then accelerate very recently. And when I say recently, I'll say maybe like the last 18 months.
For sure.
It is really starting to accelerate because the needs are also accelerating, of just business owners anyway.
So when you're saying accelerate, like that gets me excited because it kind of sounds like the business function and HR are starting to come together. We're starting to close that 18-month gap where the business operates over here and HR is somehow running behind trying to get the people.
Oh yeah. Like I said, we always want to run with our hiring managers or just our customer regardless. So even if I'm an HRBP, my customer is the internal teams and I want to run with them. I want to work with them, understand what their plights are, what their gaps are, and help fill those gaps. That is how this technology is helping us. And even we're starting to use AI in HR and team member relations as well to have a better understanding, to be able to talk more, to have more context so that we can have a better conversation, a deeper conversation. And the deeper that conversation goes, the better connectivity I have with you and the better connectivity I have with your business.
Right.
So I can understand the impacts.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's the people that are keeping the lights on.
Yes, it
right?
is.
It's the hardworking people over there in the plant right now that are processing.
1000%, yes.
Like those are the people. It's the people that are fueling the engine for business to run, especially like Clemens.
Yeah.
I got one more question for you.
Okay, shoot.
All right. If somebody was sitting on the sideline right now and saying, I don't trust all this AI stuff, I'm not about automation, I just want to just keep it moving in the way that I know how to hire.
Yeah.
What would you say to that person?
I would say that if you are afraid of AI, then do you have an iPhone? Do you have a laptop? Do you drive a car? There's technology is changing always, and technology is always a tool, and it makes our lives more efficient. It makes our lives easier. So don't avoid technology. Don't avoid AI. Learn it, and then if you can learn how to utilize it, you're going to be better at your job.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Brandon, thank you so much for your time today. I had the best time speaking with you, and it's just so exciting to hear all about the great things that are happening here at Clemens, and I absolutely love that grit that you all got around here. Thank you, Brandon.
No, thank you.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Hello everybody, welcome to Phenom Industry Week. Today is Manufacturing Day, where we will be focusing on manufacturing industry challenges solutions, and getting stories from folks who are in the trenches and solving the problems in meaningful ways. Today, I'm super excited to introduce one of my favorite people. It is my absolute pleasure to introduce you all to Letitia Nicode, who leads the talent acquisition for EMEA at PPG Industries. Welcome to the show, Letitia, and welcome to Manufacturing Day. Would you give our listeners just a little bit about yourself and what's going on at PPG's talent acquisition landscape and the unique challenges that you are facing at this point?
Of course. Well, thank you for having me. So I'm Laetitia Nico. I'm the talent acquisition leader for EMEA within PPG. I've been in talent acquisition for plus than the 20 past years, so it's quite a lot, but I was previously in sales. So it's quite a transition, meaning that I'm not an HR person to start with, but I became. And I had the chance to join PPG 2 years ago after having worked with other large company, more in life sciences like Thermo Fisher or Danaher. And well, it was quite a journey for me to discover PPG because, like, I guess many of you who are listening or many of our candidates, PPG is not, I would say, well known as such. The name PPG itself doesn't resonate a lot to start with, despite we have such a large range of products, because we cover, of course, your walls. We have 3 out of 4 walls that are painted with PPG products over the world. But also we are present in aerospace. We are painting the flights that you will take to go on vacation. We are on protective marine coatings, meaning we are painting the boats and under the sea and with very sustainable paint. We are also on the cans that you may drink, if you drink some Monsters, for instance. So we are everywhere and nobody knows it, which helps us to say sometimes that PPG is the best kept secret. But I would say that this is one of the challenges that we face. Although we are such a large company, because we have like 53,000 employees across 70 plus countries, despite this footprint on the industry that we have, we are not, I would say, spontaneously attracting candidates because candidates would not immediately recognize our name. So this is one of the challenges that we face in PPG.
I must say, Letitia, PPG is not alone when you brought up these challenges here. We day in, day out, we do hear these from other prospects and customers as well. So leading on to that, I know that what you have mentioned, it seems like PPG was heading like at a serious workforce headwinds right now. So what was that specific challenges or what was that specific turning point that said enough is enough? This is the time we need to transform.
Well, that's a good question. I think that we've all seen a very large transformation in the work market, and that was highlighted maybe just after COVID. We all heard about words like Great Resignation. There are, of course, everywhere some workforce demographic shifts. And so we see 40% plus of new hire attritions for hourly roles, which is making our life more complicated, I'd say. We have a lot of market and economic pressure, higher wage demands, and stable general economy, especially in the past year. We also have some blind spots in the talent data because we have limited visibility into the funnel analytics and the ability to customize. The generations are different and acting differently as well. We see also, the need to be really very reactive and very efficient when it comes to systems. We had in the past 40 minutes time application. which was generating a drop-off of 34% of the candidates. So it's huge, especially when you look for, I would say, qualified candidates, niche profiles, or when there is a scarcity of the talents that you search. So we had also another difficulty, maybe sometimes because we also grew from external growth, is the fact that we had some kind of organizational chaos with completely decentralized process, facilities doing their own things, and some countries working differently. So it was the moment where PPG said, okay, we have to be active. We have to implement a new strategy because we have to be answering those challenges, addressing them, and taking some very strong decisions around this. I would say that these decisions were made before I joined because this was a project that was started, I think, in 22, 23, if I'm not wrong, because it was a 24 to 26 strategy.
Well, I think those are some serious pain points, Letitia, like 40% attrition rates and completely decentralized global processes there. So, as you started evaluating the platforms, what was the specific capabilities where, non-negotiable for addressing these challenges at PPG?
I would say, first of all, one of our first actions were to use Workday more than like an HCM, but to have Workday work also like an ATS, so that our recruitment process would go into Workday from A to Z. And what we were looking for as a platform to integrate, it would be a platform that could definitely be integrated, that we could integrate, into Workday with the existing system that we had. There's also a lot of variations coming from the different regions we are present in. We are in Americas, we are in Latam, we are in APAC, we are in EMEA. And we need to have something consistent across the regions, but we also have something that needs to be customizable to answer the specifics of all of those regions. So flexible and consistent were two of the criteria that we really wanted to find in the platform we would choose. There's two other things that were very important for us. I told you about the challenges we faced. I told you about the fact that we really want to be ahead of our needs. We wanted to move from a reactive attitude to a proactive strategy. So it was really instrumental that the platform we would choose could help us build talent communities as a real CRM. And to end up with, we are dealing with very specific technologies that are very rare and that make the competition hard. So it was important for us that we would have a high security for the sensitive manufacturing data.
So from what I've gathered so far, I think the approach has slowly been you wanted to move from a reactive process to more of a proactive process. And you were also looking for a platform that grows with the evolution of PPG and adapt to your needs and not vice versa. So, this is something we are at a very interesting crux in the time where, everything about in every field, not just in manufacturing, but in the other aspects as well. There's a lot of buzz going about AI, automation, and today these are just not buzzwords anymore, right? So could we dive into the AI and automation scenario of how PPG had, approached implementing these technologies and what role are they playing today at PPG?
Of course. I think that we have a philosophy really within PPG, and that's true also with what we do as a core business, to say that tools are the real enablers. So, of course, we are always trying to be active on trying to find the best tool to answer our needs. But on the other hand, we have a very long story as a company. So we do things step by step as well in a mindset of continuous improvement. And so we started conservatively with behind the scenes automation. So it was about the link between the ATS with the CRM. It was also with implementing text to apply for frontline workers without emails, for instance, because we have to talk the language of our candidates. We have to meet them where they are, and we have to really facilitate the fact that they would apply or join us, whether it is for talent communities or to apply, because they are our clients as well when we recruit. So we need to answer our clients' need. We also are experimenting as a pilot in my region some AI-powered job descriptions, because when you recruit for aerospace, or if you recruit for architectural coatings, for instance, you cannot have the same job description. You cannot highlight the business unit the same way. You are talking to different markets of candidates. So we need to have job descriptions that are meeting that. And AI is a very powerful tool on this aspect so that it keeps that live. Also ensuring that we have a diverse language and that we are not having any bias in our job postings. We are also, so I was telling you, we are doing things step by step, meaning that there was a pilot, for instance, that we had in Americas and that we are enlarging to other regions very soon, together with Phenom. It's the interview scheduling automation. We did that first in a region. It worked so well, it was so efficient that we have decided now to implement that everywhere, because it makes the life of the candidates and of the recruiters much easier. And it's really giving us time to focus on the selection piece, for instance, where we have way more added value. What's more, I would say that what we have in the interview scheduling automation is really very flexible and can be integrated in a lot of the tools that we are using. So that was really a very good answer to our need. We are also exploring now and will be implementing some programmatic advertising to reach passive candidates, because when you look for niche talents, most of them are not unemployed. So you have to look for them and you have to track them and you have to understand where they are, because you want to speak to them where they are, to find them in a good way. So this is what programmatic advertising is helping to do. I've been doing some piloting in France, for instance, and it was really very helpful. We saw very good results on that. So we are very, very eager to be implementing that elsewhere. We will soon have as well some interview intelligence automations. So automation of the selection packs, interview guide, competencies, etc., that will be implemented everywhere globally. This will help us also to have a harmonized process in terms of hiring people, removing bias, educating hiring managers. And it's also very good for the candidate experience, because once again, this is a core topic for us. We want our candidates to feel during the recruitment process the pleasure or the quality that they could find afterwards. We will also implement a talent companion chatbot. So it's a chatbot in our website, in our career site, where we could have smart job recommendations for the candidates, where we could have conversational job search, context-aware conversation, because we did also the career site on the same basis, and this has made a real change. I will maybe, if we discuss a little bit about the results, I will explain that with pleasure. And the last thing that we are implementing is the hiring workflow automations. So it's the text to apply, for instance, it's conditional screening, it's CRM job pool enhancement. So it's a lot of stuff that we are doing in order to once again, make our recruitment process more efficient and leave the real tasks to the recruiter when they could have added value.
That's really awesome, Letitia. I mean, I can clearly see PPG is painting outside the lines and how we are imagining the global talent acquisition beyond the traditional boundaries that the legacy companies often have. And I think a lot of listeners would also resonate with this philosophy of yours, that tools are the real enablers, and starting conservatively behind the scenes, automation, and then expanding to things like text to apply for your frontline workers. I think that's really a very pragmatic approach that you have taken. So, and you have got all of these AI capabilities in place now, and you understand what tools can enable you. Could you please walk us through how this actually rolled out, and how did this take the form of concept to reality across your multi-country operations?
As I said, there was a moment first to define the strategy. And one of the good things that was done so that it would be implemented in an efficient way was the fact that I think that all people that would be involved afterwards were involved also in the choice, were involved in the definitions of the needs, taking into consideration the differences we need from region to region. So there was a consultation phase that really made a difference. Then after, I'd say that one of the foundation was the Phenom career site and also the CPM, the CRM capabilities. Why? Because once again, we wanted to be ahead of the need. We wanted to support the business efficiently, being ahead of what they would need to recruit. And for that, we needed really to pipeline candidates. We needed to create talent communities. And talent communities are way more than pipelines of candidates, because this is a continuous conversation with your future candidates. This is a way also to showcasing what your company is doing, how we are evolving. It's, I would say, an open window on our company for people that could be interested today or in a midterm basis. So the career site really, the Phenom career site really enabled us to, first of all, attract and build those talent communities from the external. And the CRM capabilities is enabling us to cultivate. We have champions of the CRM in each region. And what I really like about this is the possibility for us to have a tailor-made solution. We create the tags we need for our industries. We can way more identify, for instance, silver medalists in a process. And we can definitely build that as we want, because that is very flexible. And so it answers the need as we wanted it to be. So it was really answering the first step of the strategy, because then after we built those talent communities and we added campaign management, like, again, to continue talking. As mentioned earlier, the automated scheduling was really a game changer for the recruiter efficiency. It's saving so much time. So that's a real asset that we would see. And our aim, and we are working closely on that, is to digitalize most of the things we can digitalize. It's not a question of removing the human part. It's the question of letting to the human part and the recruiter's part a larger place to interact with people, a larger place to select people, to discuss, to follow, and all those tools are making that feasible.
Really great. So you have built this foundation with career site and CRM, and then later added talent communities, brought in automated scheduling to enable your recruiters to continuously build that relationships with the candidates and give them the best experience as you recruit globally. And I think that's a real transformation from where you started, Letitia. And Now, I think as we are moving forward, now here's what I think everyone really wants to know. So, did it really work? You know, when you look at the data, which metrics really tell the story of transformation? Like, what are the numbers that best demonstrate PPG's improved ability to, compete for manufacturing talent?
We are a very data-oriented company, so believe me, the data have been measured at every step, and we are still on it because that's, as you said, the real witness of what is working or not. So yes, if you remember, I was mentioning earlier in the pain points, the time to apply to the application phase, that was 14 minutes, and where we had a drop of 34% of candidates, sorry. We have had a 43% decrease in this time to apply. That's huge. That's huge when you talk to candidates like the ones we want to attract. So that was a great first success that you can compare with what I shared earlier. One metric that I like as well is the career site conversion rate. We have a 15% increase in the career site conversion rate. It means that this career site is not only pleasing us, but it's also talking to the candidates the way it should do. The talent CRM, we had 40% net new profiles that were added to the talent CRM. One thing I like as a feature is the possibility to capture the candidates that could be lost in the application stage or such. We had 17,685 previously lost candidates that are now captured. Once again, I think this is an amazing result, and this is something that shows the interest of having more evolved features on the product. But where I think the metric is the more, I would say, speaking for itself, because it's not a question of only TA to please TA. It's a question of TA enabling the business. It's when it comes to the time to hire. We have measured a 35% reduction in the time to hire, 15 days faster. 15 days where the production is no longer waiting for someone, where there's someone in the sales team that is on the road and going to meet clients. This is someone in legal that can advise in the right way, or in regulatory affairs that can make something be approved faster. So for me, this 35% reduction is the global outcome that is really very meaningful in terms of business enablers goal.
I think those are really impressive, Letitia, especially what you talked about, the enabling hiring managers and the satisfaction of hiring managers using the platform. That is something quite a new way of measuring a tool, I would like to say, apart from the metrics that you have seen, like cutting time to apply by 43%, reducing time to hire by almost 15 days. I think that's a huge transformation, considering we are living in a world where everything happens on a click of a mobile. So that's the reactive side working much better now. So, but I know PPG has bigger ambitions than just fixing what was broken, right? So how are you now using these AI capabilities to stay ahead of the curve? What does this proactive talent pipeline look like for critical manufacturing roles at PPG?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I told you earlier that continuous improvement is definitely one of our topics. So what we do first is most probably use AI to have a better knowledge or mapping of the talent market outside, also trying to map the internal talent that we have. but this is something that should definitely be helping us to be better advisors to our hiring managers and stakeholders, to the business in general, to make critical decisions. I reflect on an experience that I had recently. It was on a facility that we have in Europe. And this facility is not located in a convenient location. It's difficult to attract people there because it's located between two very large cities that are themselves very attractive for candidates. And we were really struggling. So we have made a lot of researches to better understand exactly what could be the levels of people to come there, where they were analyzing where people were coming from to when they were answering our job postings or to in the competition around. Well, we've been doing deep investigation, and then we could come to the business with several suggestions to say, okay, maybe we should reshape this or that. Maybe we should review this benefit or not, but with data. And I think that, you know, the sentence that says that without data, it's only an opinion. But I think that AI is also something that helps you leverage in a more daily way data to make decisions. There's also the asset of being able to do some cultivation through automated campaigns because this dialogue with the candidates we have in the talent communities is for us very important. We do not want to have static lists. We want to have this communication running something live. There's something we are exploring. I was talking about a programmatic advertising, but we are in discussions around this. And we were talking about the right way as well, where to advertise for our candidates. And sometimes you're surprised when you leverage AI or data coming from AI, because then you learn that, for instance, the way where people would more see your communication won't be, for instance, on the job board, on the local job board or whatever. It could be on Waze, for instance, because you have some advertisements on Waze and there are some locations where nobody would drive without that. So if you want to meet your people, you can definitely use that because you see where they go, you see if they are in the area of the place you want to target. And once again, I think this is an illustration of moving from the reactive filling to the proactive pipelining that we aimed for, starting implementing this strategy.
A lot of people would again resonate with this when you said that this totally looks like a total mindset change altogether, meeting candidates where they are, and AI is enabling your team to do that. I think that's one of the strongest takeaway that I got from what you just said. I mean, that's how the technology has to be used today, right? So technology is always going to evolve, and it is going only to build the relationships that you want and then help you to bridge that gap between the recruiter and the right talent that you're finding across. So that's massive, Letitia. I think from talent mapping to automated cultivation campaigns, meeting candidates where they are, and then you have really shifted from just filling the jobs to building a sustainable pipeline. So that's quite a journey with BPG, I think. So for manufacturing leaders like you that are listening today, who might be facing similar challenges, what guidance would you offer? And what should they know as they start thinking about modernizing their own talent acquisition strategies?
Yeah, it's always difficult to give advices to others because, I mean, everybody's having their journey. So first of all, AI is important. It's not all about AI. It's also about automation. It's about the right tools. AI is a part of that. It's not everything. But automation and tools are really key because I think, as I said, that technology enables relationships. It doesn't replace them. And on the opposite, it should allow them to be better. So the more you automate on non-added value tasks, the more you can have added value on things where, your talent acquisition partners are irreplaceable. And from every journey, it's always the same. You have to start from where you are. Don't try to, if you are the very early model of recruitment organization, you start with the basics and then you add, but you cannot do everything at once, and you won't be solving the world in one day. So you have to really do things step by step if you want to get the right adoption, if you want to your teams to be trained, if you want to have the appropriate communication as well, and take this change management very seriously. It's important to invest in the right infrastructure. As we discussed earlier, I think that it was a sound approach that was done to pick the tools that we have been implementing. So I think it takes time, but investment in time to pick those tools is really key, because you won't be able to change twice. So it's really key. It's also very important, I think, especially if you have a global organization, but even if you don't have a global organization, you can downsize that to your own, is to have short pilots of what you want to implement, see if it works, then enlarge or duplicate first, and then globalize. But I would avoid to globalize everything at once. But I think the key, like in everything and everywhere, is to always think about what's next. Because especially if it comes to technology, which is our topic today, technology is already late when you adopt it. There's always something that is running elsewhere, and especially in our times. So keeping an eye open is key, and also opting for solutions that are scalable and that could be agile to adapt to whatever is upcoming. But also keep your teams with you. I mean, having the teams engaged will make that all possible. Otherwise, you can have the best tools. I think it would make that difficult.
So this has been incredible. You have just shown us the transformation is possible even at the massive scale, from those 14-minute application process now to capturing almost 18,000 candidates you would have lost. That's massive. And I think what really resonates is your message that technology enables relationship. It doesn't replace them. I think that's a very powerful guidance for any manufacturer hesitant to adopt AI. And thank you so much for sharing PPG's transformation story. Your journey from reactive posting pipeline shows that manufacturing can absolutely win this war of talent. This has been absolute pleasure, Letitia. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you, Raghu.
And thanks everyone for joining us. And Letitia, thank you for painting outside the lines and showing what's possible.
Hey everybody, Joanna Keel here, Product Marketing Manager at Phenom. Thank you, Mike, for kicking off the manufacturing day of our industry week. I am here with Alyssa Price. She is the Talent Project Manager at Waste Connections, and we're going to talk a little bit about her story, really building on that AI and automation. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, Joe. It's great to be here.
Yes, we're going to have some fun today. So I'm really excited to share your story. So let's really just kick it off. What makes hiring in the waste and transportation industry different from typical recruiting? And how does supporting those roles in terms of recruiting needs and strategy differ?
And I think that, I mean, it's such a funny thing, right? Because it's one of those industries where no one grows up and says necessarily, I want to be a garbage man. And when you have that kind of perception of an industry without realizing kind of what goes into it, I feel like, you really have to get that messaging up front to people and then show them where they can take a career in this industry. I've been with Waste Connections for 12 years. I want to be here for literally the rest of my career. And knowing that there are those stories and people that have had that experience and then wanting to tell those stories to others to get them interested in our industry, I think is crucial to our recruiting metric. It's crucial to our recruiting story. We have to have the tools to be able to do that, to reach people. And I think that's probably true of anybody in transportation, manufacturing, any industry where, you haven't been told since birth, hey, you're going to go be a doctor and go to this school, right? There are other places where you can work and grow and really build a future for your family, but they're just not talked about as much. So I feel like you need that extra oomph or that extra tool to get to people and be able to share those stories.
Absolutely. A funny story saying no one wants to do that they grow up. If we can, maybe I'll even post it. But my daughter, first day of school on the school board, says she wanted to be a garbage man.
That's fantastic. I'm sorry, if we could hire 3-year-olds, we would be set. Kids love their garbage man, right? They love the garbage truck, and I don't know where that changes, but man, we would be in gold if we could hire 3-year-olds.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. So let's really dive in. Thanks for setting us up there and really talking about your story. So can you paint that picture of what was your recruiting tech stack like when you first decided that you needed to change something? And then what ultimately drove that decision to partner with Phenom?
So, I mean, I'm sure like most other organizations, right? We had a Frankenstein cobbled together system of about 12 different platforms. We had one platform that did SMS texting, and we had one platform that did communications, like a Salesforce. We had one platform that did sourcing. And every single time you switch between a platform, not only are you adding that time to what a recruiter is trying to achieve, you're also kind of really making the candidate experience not that great. Because hey, I found your resume here, but now I need you to go apply here. And then in the post-employment process, you're going to have to go here. All of those things add up to not a great experience, right? And I think that's where sometimes we get that bad taste for technology in our mouths, is if it's not adapted to be as efficient as possible, you're picking and choosing between all these things and you're losing efficiency, and you're really losing sometimes that messaging and that good human experience part of it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. If it's more than 3, it's too much work.
I completely agree. It's a waste of time at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was the first steps then that you took to start infusing that AI and automation into your hiring workflows? And I believe you said that you had started with sourcing. So why did you choose to start there as your foundation rather than other capabilities?
So our ATS, which is where we had done a lot of our recruiting activities from previously, just didn't have the ability to kind of source internal to the system, which really means that, we all have kind of our talent communities and our ways of reaching out with our branding. But if you're not actively engaging with someone who says, I'm interested in a job in your company, what message are you sending to that person? Are you telling them we're not interested in you? Are you convincing them this black hole of recruiting actually exists? You are, right? You're not communicating with them, even though you've put these kind of endpoints out there for them to access. And so when we had Phenom and when we really started to understand what the AI piece of pattern matching and that predictability of, we know this skill set is successful for this role, what other kind of assumptions can we make based on what somebody's experience has looked like in the past, then you're really using those tools to reach out to people, make your recruiters the most efficient in terms of their use of time, but then you're also engaging with people who have shown interest in you. And I think that retooling and rebranding that black hole of internet recruiting is something that everyone in the recruiting and talent advocacy industry is responsible for.
Yeah, absolutely. You really did nail that there. So when you first started this, you told us this fun story as we were prepping for these calls today. When you migrated over your candidate database over to Phenom, you made a shocking discovery. So can you tell the audience what you did find?
So, and that was exactly kind of what I was referring to, right? So we had a talent community with our ATS, but we didn't have any tool or mechanism to reach out to those people. So when we had decided how many people to bring over, we were looking at who had been contacted in the system, right? Because that's at least something that you can see in most ATSs. We discovered that of everyone that was coming in our talent community, there was probably over 30,000 people that had never really been reached out past their initial interest in the company. And to me, that was just a huge miss, right? Like those, to the story I was just telling, right? Those are people that said, hey, I might be interested in you, but because we didn't have a tool that was citing and putting it in a place that we could then take a second action off of, we didn't know what we were doing. So having that discovery, and then now knowing that we're not missing a single person that tells us, hey, I'm interested in your company. I mean, that's a good feeling. That to me means we're operating at the most optimized level. And that's what I would want for any team in any company.
Yeah, I can't imagine what that feeling was like in the room when you made that discovery.
It was more of a like, oh, have we been doing everything we could be doing? And sometimes you don't know until you don't know. But that's why having a technology partner like Phenom is so important, because you're going to go on a path of self-discovery as you get used to the tools, but you also need someone telling you like, hey, what is your case? Do your good old SWOT analysis for an HR team and say, where can we get better? And then you match yourself to the tool, and then you've got a great partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It's all about growing. So when you really look back at that growth, what are the processes or foundational steps that you did put in place that can really help you scale?
So the very first thing we did is we got recruiters really used to seeing when a candidate comes into the system, like, what is your first action with that person? And we had never had this fit score piece before. So to me, that is that predictive matching that we were talking about, right? We know that typically in this type of role, this skill set is foundational. So show me more people that have that type of skill set. Let me reach out to them and tell them what a great career they could have in this industry. So getting used to kind of seeing that, and then that is a foundation piece, the amount of different ways that you can go through and set up reoccurring communications with those individuals. Set up hey, maybe now is not the time. Maybe you needed something a little bit different than what we were offering, but that doesn't mean that's not going to change in the future for us or you. So why don't we keep in contact through that? And we are doing that in a way where it feels like a really good human connection, but at the same time, you're using these tools that are the automation piece of it, right, to build on what we're discovering through AI. So we are basically taking anything that can be administrative, anything that can be repetitive, and we're really just regulating that to a system use basis so that our recruiters are spending more time in actual conversations with candidates. And I think that is the most important thing that a recruiter can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you talked about fit score, which is a grade, for those not familiar, it's a grade, right? And then the human makes the decision of what to do with that sort of grade. But I believe you're also using, in addition to fit score, some tags in your talent CRM. So first, I was hoping you could talk about what tags are, how you use them, but really how you're putting that in your workflow.
And I will nerd out about tags, so stop me whenever you're ready. To me, it is just a brilliant next step in recruiting systems in general, right? So in order to organize yourself, and I truly believe that time management and organization are probably two of the most important skills that a recruiter can have. You can be a great people person, right? You can be great at talking to people, but unless you can really prioritize yourself and spend time where you need to spend time, you're not going to be doing the best job that you can as a recruiter and a talent acquisition professional. So having a tool that helps you with that, amazing. To me, literally, like, you cannot put a price on that. And so when you look at something like tags, it really puts that selection and that human decision-making process into a tool so that you can then use a tag for almost anything in the future, right? Like, it's almost like creating your own search methodology, making the recruiter the developer in the system, right? You're giving them power in the system to say, I know that if I put this tag on this person, right, maybe they were a good fit, but we just found someone a little bit better this time. Why wouldn't I want to call them instead of restarting a recruitment process from the ground every single time? Now I have this group of people that we've had a great interaction. They know about our company, right? Like, that's a nice warm outreach. And I get to set those search metrics myself. Like, to me, that is just mind blowing. And to then be able to put automations behind them, right? Where you're basically saying, hey, this is what you told me last time you needed to be interested in our job. Guess what? Something changed on our side. Here you go. Now I know that you're the first person I'm going to reach out to the next time a requisition opens. So you're just taking that power and that tool kind of craftsmanship, and you're giving it to an individual recruiter. And then from there, if you're kind of matching it with fit scores, I always remind myself of, my Pandora account in the 90s, right? Thumbs up or thumbs down. And you're really kind of teaching your system at a very self-driven level what's important to you, what could help you do your job better. And to have that type of like decentralized kind of like tool in front of you that is doing the best for you for what you're doing. Because even in a team of recruiters, not everyone does the same thing. Not everyone recruits for the same positions. So to have that individualization in one platform that really speaks to individual recruiters and what their tasks are, it's truly phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's ask this question too and give the answer. Are there things you don't automate?
I mean, I would say that we are still on our automation journey, and I truly believe that it's one of those. It's the journey, not the destination, because I think we're just going to keep finding new use cases, right?
Yeah.
One of the coolest new use cases that I've discovered with automations recently is the ability to interact with employee referrals, right? Because we can either tag or look at a traffic source. If someone's an employee referral, we know right away. We're able to reach out to them so that we're showing our employees that them referring someone to our business is important, because it is. And we're just able to action that quicker, and we're making sure that we're not missing anybody. And we're about 1.5 years into our journey right now with automations, and that was something brand new that we just put into place last week. So I think in the weeks and months to come, we're going to keep finding new things to put in there.
Oh, well, that's awesome. You talked about during the automations that not every recruiter is the same. They're recruiting for different jobs, different roles that have very different requirements. So let's talk about change management when it comes to that. So how important was that to your success? And can you walk us through some practical strategy on getting those experienced recruiters comfortable using the AI?
I think change management is probably the most important thing that any organization can do to basically prepare themselves for the power of the tool that they're about to engage in, right? You can certainly use it as a surface level, but that's not what it's designed to do. It's really meant to go beyond surface and give you this holistic suite of communication tools and organizational tools and everything that you can do to really, again, let those administrative tasks be administrative. So for example, and I spent 15 years as a recruiter myself, right? I would spend probably 1.5 hours at the end of each day writing up all of my notes to my hiring managers, making sure I had like a good candidate summary. And now with the X Plus piece, right, you can basically kind of teach the machine like, hey, this is my style of speech. And then you can have your notes and it's going to write this really nice email for you. I mean, AI is probably in more parts of our life than we actually know. And when you see something like that, where it's like, it's not doing it for me, it's not making a decision for me, it's not taking away the human agency, it really is just helping me with those button clicking, right? And those last minute end of day, I'm tired, I'm probably not doing my best job anyways. So why would I force myself to do that when I can instead maybe have an entire another phone screen, reach out to a whole nother human being, and just know at the end of the day, the buttons are clicked, the emails are sent, and I'm good to go.
Yeah. So it sounds like, would you consider yourself a product champion?
I mean, absolutely. There's recruiting is such a interesting industry in that it's evolved, right? I started with telephone books, right? That's where I started, and to be able to come full circle to a place where I can almost talk to a machine and tell it what I want it to do. I mean, that's pretty cool, but that fear of the unknown is going to play a part wherever you're at, right? And for people who have been doing this for a while, it's really hard to kind of admit to yourself, even though I know this industry and my job, I don't necessarily know the tools that are available. And you want to keep adapting, you want to keep growing so that you don't lose that, because this is something that's in your professional life, it's in your personal life as well. It's going to be in your kids' lives. Why not know everything that you can and touch everything that you can, and then be at the forefront and be a master of the tool?
How long would you say it took your team to get over that hump?
So I would say, and I think that looking back, I would heartily suggest this. So we actually had champions in each of our regions that received additional training. So we kind of had given it to the train the trainer format. And I think that is a really good decision, right? You're giving extra people the ability to be advocates at kind of a local level. And I think that was really, really key to our success, is having somebody who kind of had seen it, done it, tasted it, touched it, and then being able to say, hey, don't believe me, just look what I was able to do. You could do this too. So I think that there is a big piece of that. I would say it took about 6 months to really get people in there understanding some of the power of what they could do, and then forming good habits around those new tools available is, as I said, probably an ongoing journey. But you can I think reel back the doubt and the new scary probably in about 6 months if you structure it well.
You really hit on that. And my next question was all about your team and how you just mentioned all these local teams and it's decentralized, right?
Very
So how do you ensure your corporate consistency while still respecting those local market needs?
And I think that again, there's tools in the system to do that. So we have the ability to look through a job description, optimize a job description, create a template for that job description, and then again, every single time we're not starting from scratch. And that was kind of our previous recruiting model, right? You get an open headcount, you have to open that requisition, you have to go through that process and kind of figure out, hey, is this something I know how to do? Is this a new position? Do I need to do an intake call? Every single step of that process, there is something in Phenom where instead of having to do it every single time something changed, I have a nice standard for compliance so that everyone is performing to a standard, but at the same time, they're able to do it in different ways, put their own personality, their own expertise behind it. And I love that you have a standard, but not standardization.
Yeah, absolutely. So thinking about your recruiter's daily workflow, how would you say that generative AI using that X plus within your talent CRM has really changed?
I think again, it really is just getting recruiters back to what I think is the most important part of what they can do is have human based interactions, right? Human conversations. We as talent acquisition professionals, we learn the markets that we work in. We become subject matter experts by interacting with people. And if you're spending most of your time clicking buttons, you're on a sourcing job board, you're pulling resumes in, you're typing out text, you're typing out your emails, that's every second, every click. That's time away from what you could be spending putting a great branding message together, or actually being out at a invitational or an event where you're meeting the people where they live and where they work. For manufacturing and transportation specifically, kind of those frontline jobs, I think it's really hard to reach people, right? They are on the go 24/7. They could be in a vehicle, they could be driving a forklift. So you're maybe catching them for like 45 minutes on their lunch. And what can you get them to know about your company to say, hey, maybe that's a better opportunity than where I'm at now, right? So you've got a very limited amount of time to capture that engagement. So as a recruiter, the more time you can give yourself to focus on that without clicking buttons, you're going to be in a better place.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you use X Plus often. Do you have a favorite use case that you want to share?
I mean, I really like its sourcing capabilities. So being able to internally look through your system, I think that's where tags kind of come into play as well, right? You can create your own search metrics using those tags. And then I really do like it again for the ability to summarize just notes from a system, right? So we utilize the hiring manager piece to Phenom as well, and the ability to communicate quickly with a hiring manager through those instances, right? Hey, here's my candidate summary. You know what? This looks great. Let's go ahead and get that scheduled. Now I'm going to use the scheduling element of the system instead of 6 emails back and forth with a candidate where, are you available Tuesday at 4? I'm not, but I'm available Tuesday at 6. Okay, hiring manager, are you available Tuesday at 6? It can get done within 30 seconds. And that's time back in everyone's day, less frustration with a drawn out process. And I think a better experience for everyone that's involved.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you put yourself outside of Waste Connections. So if you're now in a new organization, right, and they're just starting in their AI journey, what would you tell them? How would you lay that foundation, and why is starting with sourcing you think so critical?
I would say very much a situation of fear. This is very much a fear of fear itself type thing with AI, right? Like it's unknown, it's scary. I know that you see headlines, right? AI is taking jobs, and there's going to be a shift, but we've lived through a lot of shifts in the employment world, right? And we're going to live through this one. We're going to survive through this one, but why not be at the forefront of it, right? We're aware of it. And I really do think it's probably in more parts of your everyday life than you realize. And so when you have the opportunity to make yourself the best version of your professional self by engaging with a tool like this, it's going to have repercussions and benefits in every other part of your life as well. You'll be able to tell your kids how to do their homework. And, it's just little things like that, right? Like the pieces of AI that are in the system that are really doing those predictive kind of, pattern recognition pieces. It's like, once you have them, you're like, why did I ever do this? Like, I mean, it really is that it's like having a bestie that has all the world knowledge, right? And you just walk over and you're like, hey, can you please tell me this one thing? I don't want to spend, 10 minutes researching myself. And it does. And that's great. I've got time back in my day. I can go do the human stuff. And again, so I think that finding where it fits in your life is important, but such a cool opportunity to be like at the forefront of a major technology change as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you say you made any mistakes? And if you did, what's the biggest ones you see happening?
I can't think of any just straight out mistakes, because I think from the very beginning, our organization knew that we never wanted this to replace human decision making, right? We wanted to use it as a tool to minimize kind of all those other pieces that I talked about that really shouldn't matter one way or the other. It's just the click, click, click. But I don't know if we would ever move to a place where that decision making, pieces is removed. And I think that's important, right? Like, you should be able to right size AI for what it can help you with without it overstepping boundaries that you're uncomfortable with. Like, it's very easy to draw that line. I think that knowing that this was going to be a tool that we kind of committed to and grew with, which is one of my favorite things about Phenom, right? I know that in 5 years, we're not going to have to go look for something else, because Phenom as a company keeps growing. It keeps giving us new tools that kind of feel like a very guided tour on this path of technology. And I would be scared to go back out there and try to partner with a company that maybe didn't have that. But I think it's given us that ability to know right up front where we want it to play a role and where we don't want it to play a role. I am sure there are missteps that I'm not thinking of in specific, but nothing has changed from our original conception of, we want the best that we can get from this portion of it. We never wanted to take away that human agency or human decision-making process.
Yeah, absolutely. That human decision making and human in the loop is so critical. Well, we've made it through all of our questions, so I will give you an opportunity. Is there any key takeaways you want to tell your colleagues that may be watching this on Manufacturing Day that you'd like to share?
The only thing I want to throw out there, so as a recruiter, I think it's always important to just kind of see what's going on in the world. And I've read so much recently that said that blue collar work is kind of on a rise, right? Like, it's an alternative to expensive education programs, or maybe that traditional white collar story that we've all been told and shared. And I love that, but I still think that part of that is kind of telling people where the value proposition is and coming into this line of work. And even more than that, having the ability to talk to someone and maybe they don't have the skill set, right? So maybe it's a great culture fit. You find that earnest, quality in this individual. You find that human aspect that you think would just be a great addition to your team. But let's say they don't actually have the skills that you need for the manufacturing job that you want, or for the transportation job that you want. What do you do as a company? And for our company, what we have done is we've started schools, right? So we've started driving schools, we've started mechanic schools, where we can teach you those core hard skills that you need. We just need you to bring the right attitude, that ability, and that desire to learn and want to be a part of something bigger. And from a recruiting perspective, that can be a very different proposition, right? You're not necessarily going after a hard skill set, something that you can read on a resume and say, yep, that's the type of person I want. It's very much something that you have to look at, the minutia of. And looking at some of the tools in Phenom that I know that we're going to be using in the future, the screening tools, right? Like those natural language agents, where you can really get after not just, what can you do, but what do you want to do? And I want a future in recruiting where I can ask people, what do you want to do? And if it aligns with what we offer, we can give you that skill set, right? You can come to our schools and we will train you to do this job. And I think that it's such a cool thing to be able to have one tool that can go after both, where in the past, I really can't imagine anything doing that. So when I look at the future and I see that extra step that we're going to start going and looking for people that is maybe even beyond skill set, because we're willing to train you to come in this industry and hopefully have a really, really awesome career. Super excited.
Yeah. Thanks, Alyssa. That is really well said. And I really appreciate the future look at the industry as well. All right. So Alyssa, it is Manufacturing Day. So can you tell us how Waste Connection ties back to manufacturing and the types of jobs and roles?
Absolutely. And what I really love about, the waste industry is as long as your garbage is getting picked up off the top, the street, most people don't really care what goes on beyond the scenes, but there are so many elements of this industry that touch on manufacturing, both upstream and downstream. So first and foremost, we are the service provider for a lot of manufacturing companies. When manufacturing companies are producing special waste that needs to be disposed of in a certain way, right? We're your guy. So we, a lot of times, are not just a broker for those types of things. We have to be kind of a thought provider, a partner in terms of, hey, this is great for your process, but what are you going to do once you have all of that leftover material? Where are you going to put it? How are you going to keep compliant with state and federal regulations? So we definitely deal with manufacturing kind of from a customer service and service partner provider perspective. And then we also have a lot of manufacturing that goes into recycling in specific. So when you think about, everything that is a part of recycling, there is both the upfront side of it where you have to sort, where you have to make sure it's clean recycling, or you can really kind of mess up the system for everyone else. Those are machine parts. Those are mechanical manufacturing. It's engineering and manufacturing. So we both live it and breathe it as part of our different pieces of work. And then we also service it as an industry to make sure that it can be successful and help service their customers.
Thank you for that background. So I know you're very enthusiastic about AI, and we love that, but not everybody is.
I know.
So what advice would you give to that person of how do you get started?
I mean, I would almost compare it to, hey, there's this shiny new thing that you could put, in your car to play music, but it looks like a flat, shiny thing instead of a tape. Is that scary to you? Do you want to try it? But that's basically what it is, right? It's new, but it's probably somewhere in your life already that you don't even realize. And so I really do just think it's fear of the unknown, fear of something that you don't have a handle on. And it can be really intimidating to just, jump on Google and type in, tell me about AI, because there's so many different aspects of it. But if you can figure out a way to incorporate it in your professional life, I guarantee you it's going to have benefits and returns in every other part of your life, because you're going to understand what its use cases are. You're going to understand where it can save you time and where it can, maybe help you be a better version of both your professional self and probably yourself out there in the world as well. So I would say get rid of that cassette, get that CD, move on to the next stage of technology. It really is just fear of the unknown. We can do this.
Yeah, it's sort of like YouTube, right? When we first discovered it, it's like, wait, that's on YouTube? And so now it's like, oh, AI can do that too? I didn't know that.
I was trying to explain Vines to my nephew the other day, and I was like, well, it was kind of like YouTube, but it was a short format of it, and you couldn't do it past a certain. And he was like, why would you ever have that? I'm like, baby steps, right? You had to go there before you could get all the way to YouTube. So why not get in on the baby step floor of AI now, or else you're going to get left behind, and you don't want to do that.
Yeah, that is so true. And I want to thank you for taking time out of the day to join us during our industry week.
Thank you so much.
In today's world of manufacturing, speed and precision are everything. From meeting production deadlines to maintaining quality and compliance, the success of your operation depends on one critical factor: your people. However, with a shifting labor market, a growing skills gap, and increased competition for top talent, the right people are not always guaranteed, forcing you to navigate the perfect storm of challenges. But you're not alone. In a recent survey, 66% of participating CEOs in the manufacturing space said they consider the shortage of skilled labor to have either a high or transformational impact on their organizations. But here's the good news. AI and automation has emerged as a pivotal solution to these challenges. In fact, when introduced in their respective organizations, these very same survey respondents confirmed that AI-powered technologies have led to improved efficiency and productivity in 78% of their organizations. As a technology underpinned by AI and automation, this is exactly where Phenom comes in. Phenom has partnered with countless organizations in this space, many of which you've heard from already today, who are navigating these very same challenges, needing to quickly source, assess, and hire a skilled workforce faster than ever before. Because if not, production is impacted, revenue is lost, and in our world, that is just simply not an option. But how exactly are Phenom customers experiencing such a notable shift in their hiring practices? With built-in intelligence, automation, and candidate engagement tools, Phenom transforms hiring into a streamlined, high-impact process aligned with your operational goals. For the candidate, that means a frictionless process entirely personalized to them. So, let's go ahead and take a look. When a candidate lands on your career site for the first time, it's as if they've met before, already starting to suggest recommended opportunities relevant to where they are located. In our world, whether a maintenance tech, a forklift operator, or a machine operator, it is highly likely that the recommendations at the most nearby facility are ones worth considering. For this candidate located in Meridian, Mississippi, the openings displayed during their very first visit to the Core Access site are a short 30-minute commute. But of course, there's more to learn about this candidate than just where they live. And so with each candidate interaction, these recommendations become more aligned to this particular candidate. Whether that includes interacting with the search bar to search for forklift operator openings, or interacting with the inline personalization tools to further ensure that they have 3 years of experience working with both electric and gas-powered forklifts, as well as in-depth experience in leveraging fork positioners, side shifters, and rotators. With these additional candidate insights, these recommendations will dynamically update to reflect these preferences. Long gone are the days that candidates have to search from a list of 100 or even thousands of jobs to find the one that best aligns to them. Now, every interaction guides this candidate to explore curated recommendations specifically aligned to them, ensuring quick action now on roles of relevance. When that desired next role is found, this candidate can seamlessly start to express their interest in the opportunity. As a first step in the process, this candidate will be prompted to share their contact information, which means the Core Access team now has a way to reach them via email and SMS if they fail to complete the process, or even to continue nurturing them for future roles if they are not selected. Now, what happens next in this workflow is really what makes the hiring automation framework such a game changer. Whether a role that receives hundreds of applicants that are massively time-consuming to review, or a role that requires a highly skilled candidate and is therefore harder to fill. The workflow automation framework can ensure you are handling each of these audiences uniquely, all while keeping speed and quality top of mind. As a forklift operator, this may prompt a candidate to complete screening questions for the role. Responses determine more than whether they are qualified or not. The sophisticated branching logic ensures that no candidate gets overlooked, allowing for the identification of highly qualified, qualified, minimally qualified, and of course not qualified audiences to route accordingly into a defined next step. As a candidate who not only meets the minimum qualifications for the role, but also one who has the relevant required experience, shift, and start availability, this candidate can be immediately invited to schedule an interview with the plant manager, a task that previously took days or sometimes even weeks, now accomplished within minutes of this candidate landing on the career site, without a local plant or facility manager having to do anything at all. But with 70 to 80% of frontline candidates exploring their next opportunity via their mobile device, it's imperative that this very experience is available across multiple channels. So regardless of whether on a desktop, a mobile device, or initiated through an SMS text to engage, candidates can experience the same great experience regardless of how they're choosing to engage. However, what I just showed for this candidate is the happy path. This candidate is highly qualified, and therefore, we want to talk to them as soon as possible. But what about those candidates who have 3 years of experience versus the 4 to 5 needed, or those who can work weekdays but not on preferred weekends? Should we simply disqualify them? Historically, maybe. But today, absolutely not. Instead, it's possible that we just need a little more information, which we can now gather by asking additional questions, or including prompts that would allow for a video or audio recorded response. Again, all accomplished straight from their mobile device. For companies like Thermo Fisher, before partnering with Phenom, hiring within their plant locations was taking on average 35 days. However, after incorporating automated workflows like the one we've just shown to match, screen, and schedule our highly qualified candidates in with their plant managers, they have now reduced their time to fill down to 21 days. That's a 40% efficiency gain now being realized across their business. Not to mention, they also achieved a 3 times increase in their qualified applicant pool. Absolutely incredible results. Let's take a look at the engine sitting beneath this experience layer that is really responsible for driving these incredible results. The automation engine is where all of your purpose-built workflows will reside, allowing you to define the ideal logic for each unique scenario across your business. As you can see, prompts build on each other within these paths to be able to guide the job seeker down the experience relevant to their fit to the role. Based on this understanding, you are now able to take the relevant next action step with each of them, ensuring you are interacting with each unique job seeker in a way that aligns to your business needs. And so whether an organization needing to hire a predominantly skilled workforce, or one needing to hire a large volume of candidates quickly to fill revenue-generating roles, the hiring automation solutions are truly a game changer. For our friends at Silver Bay Seafood, an organization dependent on a seasonal workforce to be staffed in their seafood processing role in Alaska, speed and quality is critical to keeping their operations running. Every single year, they need to secure over 5,000 hires within 5 months' time, all of which they then pay to fly to Alaska for processing. As you can imagine, a massive hiring cost, which means they need the right people in the door. After deploying the hiring automation framework, like you see on the screen, they were able to successfully screen, qualify, and process 2,500 candidates in the first 30 days of launch, which saved the team an estimated 1,000 administrative hours and ensured they were about halfway to their hiring goal for the season in the first month alone. Building on this foundation of speed and efficiency, the next evolution is giving frontline leaders even greater control by providing a mobile-optimized experience for them to manage all recruiting tasks, including managing their requisitions in the plant, coordinating interviews and feedback, and executing offers directly from the shop floor. Over to you, Mark, to show the experience your hiring managers will absolutely love.
Here's what we know. In the fast-paced manufacturing industry, hiring managers are constantly juggling multiple responsibilities. They need mobile-friendly tools to manage recruitment processes while efficiently staying on the shop floor, ensuring production runs smoothly. Lack of these tools often leads to delays in decision-making and a lack of real-time visibility into the hiring process. Imagine the impact on production schedules and team dynamics when key positions remain unfilled. The stakes are high. Unfilled positions can lead to overtime costs, decreased productivity, and increased stress on existing staff. Let's dive into a scenario where a hiring manager needs to fill a current opening on their team. We'll be showing you the view right from their phone utilizing our Hiring Manager app. First things first, we need to create the job. Typically, this entails coordinating on a desktop computer and a really difficult user interface. So let's show you how quick and seamless that is through the Hiring Manager app. So what we'll see is I have a couple different options, the different templates for those jobs that I have on my team. So I have an assembler and a lead assembler. This will be focused more around that assembler role. So what I'm going to do is proceed with this first one. Now what it will do is help me set up that matching criteria. We're looking to attract the best candidates and we want to make this really easy. Strip away everything that they don't need and just give them those main basics to ultimately find the best candidate for the role. So now what we're going to do is choose some shift availability. So we're looking for someone that can choose that day shift, and then ultimately we want to look for those people that are close to the location. So this is a really important part. So what we do is we give them that location distance, allow them to select and only candidates within that specific range, since that's what we're really looking for. Now everything's done for you. You can go ahead and review that job has been posted. And even if you do need approvals for this, this can go to the appropriate parties. The next thing, you want to go and find what those candidates are in the market right now. So maybe we want to look at those past applicants. Very easy to find them right there, right from your Hiring Manager app. Now let's jump into a scenario where we want to add some availability to your calendar. So once the hiring manager has created that job, the next thing we need to do is understand what their availability is. Typically, this is a pretty difficult part of the process to line up schedules, but with the Hiring Manager app, the process is quick, intuitive, and easy to navigate. So let's go through as if we're the hiring manager here. So again, we'll get that notification right on our phone, making it really easy. So I'm going to go ahead and add some availability so I can make sure that I'm available for those candidates looking to interview. So what this will do is allow me to select my availability, but not just your 9 to 5 working hours. This will be custom to what those candidates are typically looking for in that role. So we're going to utilize some of that automation and intelligence to understand where that comes into play, what those candidates are looking for, and how that hiring manager can best meet them with those times that they're available. So what you'll see here is this insights. As I move forward, it's going to say that candidates are typically looking between 3 and 4 p.m. and also 5 and 6 p.m. Maybe after their shift's wrapped up, they have time to actually interview. So the hiring manager doesn't even need to think about that. The system is automatically bringing that to their interface and then ultimately allowing them to select that time. So once they go forward and select those times, they're ready to go, and it makes those schedulings so much easier for the hiring manager as well as for the candidate. Now that the hiring manager app has set their availability and tailored it to the best times for the candidates, let's look at a scenario where a candidate has to cancel or reschedule. Typically, this delays the process days or maybe even weeks, but with the hiring manager app, it couldn't be easier. So let's go through. So now I'll get another notification that somebody needs to reschedule. This will tell me who, it will tell me which position this is for, so I can just select here from a new time. So now I can see my calendar, it pulls up automatically within the app, and now I can see that time that Jessica needs to move. She needs to cancel this, but she has suggested a new time. So now I can see she can meet at 2 to 3. I am available during that time. So what I'm gonna go ahead is accept that, and now we've moved that time. So just like that, without any interaction back and forth, any work, any coordination with the recruitment team, I can now do this all on my own as the hiring manager for this role, and then ultimately move forward in that process. Now, once we've set this up, what we want to do is ultimately go through and make sure that we have everything set up for the interview. So after that simple rescheduling, the hiring manager will get a simple prompt on their phone to go and prepare for the interview before it starts. So now, again, we're starting with that notification. Once we click into that, we can now see that we have an interview coming up that we need to prepare for. Once we jump in, we can see all of their resume highlights. We can see their background, their experience, all the relevant skills, the certifications that they have, all right there from your fingertips. And then ultimately we can jump into the interview guide. So in addition to everything else, we do have interview guides that you can build out that are custom to those specific roles. You can go through and make sure that you're qualifying these candidates on all the specific details that you need for those jobs. So as you can see here, we're looking at experience, technical skills, as well as teamwork and adaptability. These are all customizable to your specific jobs. So whatever those questions may be, we can help you create those with our AI as well. The interview went great. The hiring manager wants to move quickly on Jessica to make sure we don't lose her. I'll show you how quickly hiring managers will be able to get an offer out to their favorite candidate faster than ever. So now what you'll see here is a notification saying that we need a little bit more information to move forward with making that offer to Jessica here. So now once I click into this notification, it'll bring me back into the app. I can see everything here, verify all her information, and ultimately proceed to offer. So now I can go through, make sure the job title's right, the start date, the shift hours, and who that hiring manager is, myself. And once I'm ready, I go ahead and send that offer out. Once Jessica accepts that offer, I'll get another notification to now see that she's accepted that offer and we're ready to move forward with their process. So now that you can manage hiring seamlessly from the shop floor, let's talk about how you can keep your employees engaged and retained as we discuss internal mobility next.
In manufacturing, every minute a position goes unfilled affects your production schedule and bottom line. You've already seen how Phenom accelerates external hiring. Now let's look at how we unlock the potential of your existing workforce, like Layla, a forklift operator, through automation and intelligence in internal mobility. Layla logs into her personalized portal and sees she's a 90% match for a logistics coordinator role because of her shift experience, safety record, and WMS familiarity. She explores her career path from forklift operator to logistics coordinator to warehouse supervisor and sees the skills she already has, what she's missing, and where to get them. Layla sees Maria, a current logistics manager, recommended as a mentor. She can schedule a shadow day or ask for resume guidance. No HR intervention needed. Now Layla can sign up for a 2-week inventory planning gig, giving her hands-on experience with order systems and supply chain workflows. These short-term gigs are real work and real growth. Phenom's AI detects Layla lacks basic SAP inventory skills, so it auto-enrolls her in a 20-minute LMS module. Once completed, her profile updates automatically and boosts her match score. Now, from a manager's perspective, Layla's manager sees a dashboard of team engagement and flight risk. They're able to see all job openings, key roles identified, promotion rates, leadership hierarchy, and high demand material handling roles. Key insights are delivered to the manager, just like in your CRM, how key insights are delivered to your recruiters, and on your career site, how they're delivered to your candidates. You can look across different geographies, different focus areas, different facilities where you might need to staff up in different areas and look at talent that you might have already at your fingertips. The system provides insights into the different skills that you might need in order to help upskill and move your existing employee population around in order to make sure that you're able to fill those open positions faster than you would than having to recruit externally. So earlier, what was presented to Layla was a career path based on her skills and her background and her interests. Now, behind the scenes in your manager dashboard, managers can really see what are the different origin roles and different paths that your employees can take, either based on what's happened at your organization in historical occurrences, what you've planned out, thinking ahead, you know your business best, or what Phenom AI is able to help bridge the gap and make suggestions based on industry best practices. You can see different upward roles as well as lateral moves. I can see the skills for the current role as well as missing skills that are typical for that next role. As your organization is moving to become a skills-based or skills-powered organization, this kind of information is key to helping you save time and help identify potential employees who can fill these roles and grow with your organization. In just a few clicks, Layla's future is unlocked and a talent gap is closed. Phenom reduces time to fill, increases retention, and helps manufacturing teams stay agile by hiring from within at the speed of production.